Senbenu, Velvet. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Matt. It's been delightful to talk to you in the background, getting this all together.
Indeed, indeed. Well, you're quite an interesting person, and and you've lived somewhat of an experienced life. It's actually, I mean, that's great, but it also, from an interviewer's point of view, frankly, makes things a little bit difficult. So it's like, how we're going to frame this. But
Okay.
what I'd most like to start off with is your adventures in Mongolia. You've been over there, and you're engaged in doing your best to raise profile of the country and some educational stuff that's going on over there. Would you mind
Yeah.
telling me about that?
Okay. So, why Mongolia? So heading into Mongolia, I needed wild spaces. I need places that were largely untouched. I needed to stand on the grasslands and listen to the eagles and smell. And I've always had a fascination with the eagle hunters.
Hmm.
It's also quite fascinating going to a country that, like is developing. Um, it has an outstanding history. However, it's catching up to this capitalism that sort of runs the monetary systems. And I really wanted to get to it before it was too touristy and too exploited. So
Hmm.
that's why Mongolia, all my kids are grown up, they're functional human beings. I had this pot of money and it was like, oh, let's go.
Hmm. It's really funny, actually, when I was over there, when I visited Ulaanbaatar, I ran into this economist, and he actually worked for the government, and he started quoting Hayek's The Road to Serfdom to me, which I was like kind of amazed. I'm like, wow, like, of course he's an economist, it's his thing, but
Yeah.
as you've indicated, you've like a former, well, not a former Soviet satellite, that would be inaccurate to say, but kind of like within the realm of the CCP in effect.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely.
to have someone quote Hayek, I'm like, oh, how how interesting is that? But so
Yeah.
this school that you're involved in,
Ah.
tell us about that.
Okay, so you know how serendipity does just hit that word's already been on the table. When I decided Mongolia was it was like the doors opened up, something stepped in and started organizing my tour for me. So I found a woman called Sarah Monkbaya, and she has Sarah's guest house in Mongolia. Bit of a plug, but she's up the north, and that's where the eagle hunters and the reindeer hunters are there. So I didn't want to go to the Gobi Desert, didn't want to hang out in Ulaanbaatar. I wanted to head out north. So it just happened that she not only had a tourist company, but she runs this English school up in Murun, in the north of Mongolia. And, and being a community development worker, when I travel, I like to give back to the community, like whether it's working with elephants or, endangered animals or, just being a part of the cooking team in a community. I really need to be involved like that.
Mm.
So she has this English school, an international English school up in the north of Mongolia, where they do over their summer holidays, really solid English teaching lessons.
Yep.
And for your room and your board, I got to turn up there and work in the north. And I was pinching myself. I still pinch myself. I look at the photographs and pinch myself. And what was most extraordinary about being with kids in the north of Mongolia is they don't have phones in the classroom. I didn't have to fight them for their full attention. Oh, I didn't have to fight them. It was incredible. They wanted to be there. They wanted to learn. It was extraordinary to be there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so
Yeah,
Moron
there.
is there.
Yep.
Okay, so for just to give some people the viewers, so that's Outer Mongolia. It's actually about the size of Queensland.
Yeah.
Russia,
That's Russia and the steppes. Yeah.
we call this
When you
area
see that
Siberia.
those yeah, when you see those Russian movies and it's cold and icy with pine trees, that's kind of where they're filming.
Yep, yep, and it's Siberia.
That, yeah.
And so obviously we have China here, North Korea, and
Yeah.
so the place you were in was there.
All right. So this first one, I rocked up here and this is the school. It's an old Soviet summer school camp.
Yep.
And so, you know, it's run down. Sarah and her team put an incredible amount of energy into this place before we got there for the kids.
Mhm.
It's covered in mountains, and we've come over these incredible rivers. There are no roads outside Ulaanbaatar. So for an Australian girl, the four-wheel driving is absolutely incredible. It's like really hang on to your hat, handmade bridges. You know, am I going to die now? No, everybody else does it. I think I'm fine. But this is the school. These are the kids' buildings. I wonder how else I can do it. These little A-frame buildings, they're the accommodation for you as a person. Two little beds. It was really cold, but as a far north girl, you know, it was when I was there around 15 to 20 degrees.
That's all right.
Um, this was my little hut. You can see it's fairly run down. The electricity, I didn't have electricity, but you know, you just roll with it, you know. I think one of the lovely things about, you know, being an Australian and having done lots of camping, you kind of shrug your shoulders and go, it's temporary. I'm just going to roll with it. This is the way it is. So these beautiful little A-frame buildings. This is totally snowed in winter, and
Mm.
we're talking about -40.
Yeah.
So I'm just not brave enough to do that yet. These little cuties. So I've walked in. This is the mess hall. I've walked in. Here are these two little kids. I sit down. That's my glasses case. And the next thing I know, I'm in a full-on conversation with these little kids, and we're putting together that puzzle. I can't speak Mongolian. They can't speak English, and we're array. That was it. Those kids were my introduction, and oh my God, I just love working with little kids. They're beautiful.
Mm.
Yeah. So that was them. And then I really loved this because I'm a theatre worker, an arts worker by trade with all these other skills. So you can really see the Soviet style hall. So we were in this hall with a really old theatre. The curtain was all raggy and taggy. You know, all the chairs are kind of broken and we're all perching, but this was the hall. And it was through working with these kids that I actually decided I would really like to take some people back to this school and help them out.
Mhm.
It was fantastic. And then the next, I think that's, oh yeah, and these are just more photos of the kids. We're just doing exercises. I'm speaking English. They're trying to learn English. We're all fumbling around together. Someone says, don't understand. Some other kid picks it up. Some of them are very advanced with their English speaking. And so we're doing a lot of drama exercises like walk forward, walk backwards, walk sideways, stop,
Yeah.
find a friend, stop. You know, so just really simple instructional things. Yeah, but this is the road in. That was it. We're driving in, and it's glorious. One of the most amazing things, Matt, was the quality of quiet there.
Yeah.
So you can see it's a lot of flat open land. So I'm used to lots and lots of bird noises. It's what wakes me up in the morning. It's what sings me to sleep of a night. You know, the changing of the twilight and morning with the bird song. Silence. You hear the wind in the grass, maybe an eagle, maybe, you know, yaks or sheep, but that's it. The quality of silence is outstanding. And my nervous system just kind of like really settled. It was yeah, I could rave on forever about the quality of silence. Just close my eyes now and just experience how chilled it is to be in absolute quiet, but for the bush.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
So I got to ask, how much egg did you drink over there?
How much what?
Egg, the fermented mare's milk.
Oh, 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 it's horrible.
Oh, no, it's not. It's great. How dare you? Okay, that's it. This interview's over. No, man,
I know.
you
I,
take that back.
I know. Oh no. I didn't get along with fermented mare's milk at all.
Oh God, I love it.
Reindeer milk? Absolutely. But that's really funny because you know, fumbling along and just being funny and well-mannered and totally stuffing up.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that when you came into a ger or a yurt or someone's home, they'll offer you sweets or lollies and you have to take it.
Yeah, that's
Where,
yeah.
well, I'm being polite, going, oh, no, don't worry about me. And I'm watching it. I went, okay, I've just stuffed up.
Yeah,
Let's
you can't.
have a candy. And then popping it in my mouth. And it was that fermented mare's milk and just really pulling on everything in my body not to.
Yeah. Did you have you got more photographs, or do you want to
Yeah.
take
So
this?
no,
Do
that
you want
was,
to walk through them, or
yeah. So just
okay?
more of this is a yurt. And they're incredible because
Yeah,
there's an open fireplace in the middle, and I fell in love. I could live in that. You pack down 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and the setup was beautiful. This is just me with some of the young. I had some tour guides that actually came with me because they wanted to learn English. So I was so well looked after, and they've become firm friends. This little photo here. So as a cultural worker, I wanted to go to cultural festival, and this was
so I can see.
the well, it was right up north. It's the Festival of the Three Rivers, and it was the first year they pulled this off,
Yeah,
and we went right up onto the hill and to look down, and this is one of those I'm pinching myself moments. I'm watching horses gallop and camels and archers, and I'm, oh my God, I've made it. This was, a bucket list, to-do list.
mm.
So yeah. Um, and then this color, this blue, no, I call this Daintree blue, but it's my favorite color in the world. It's the Ulysses butterfly. And I'm surrounded by these people in this incredible blue costume. And so this is like their it's their show. They're walking into the parade, that sort of stuff.
Was that Nadam? So did
No,
they hold
yeah,
in
it's yeah,
Nadam?
right up top, yeah.
No,
Um,
no. Sorry, not the geography. Was that the Nadam festival?
no. This was a little festival because I'm not very good with lots of people. So this was right up north. This was up past Maroon, up past Hobscotch Lake. Um,
Oh, Lake
it
Hillscott.
was like you go, yeah, it's like you'd go for a drive up north and somebody goes, oh, look, in the paddock at X degree and south and Y degree north, we're going to have a festival there. It was kind of a bit like that. We got
Yeah,
lost for a while. Nobody could quite find where it was, and then finally we landed there.
that'd be Nadam for sure.
It was hilarious because, we're just following dirt tracks, and then we'd stop and talk to a farmer and they'd wave us over there, and then we'd stop and they'd wave us over there. But
What time of year was it? Was it coming into spring?
August, September.
Yeah, yeah.
So not the big Nadam festival, the one down near Ulaanbaatar.
Yeah, yeah. No. Okay.
This was it actually didn't have a name other than this is just the festival, and it was the first time, and let's go.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm an archer, Matt. I grew up on property, so I've always loved archery. So to actually be in a country, and this is one of the things that called to me of Genghis Khan. It was the horseback archers. So to be at a festival watching these archers was fantastic. Now in Australia we have a lot of rules about the target area and not standing beside the target area. And one of the things that just blew my hair back in Mongolia was the lack of regulation and rules. Because
No,
I
it's
don't think
so good. It's
people are
so
not
good, man. You're free. You're free over there. Ain't no
people are not
bureaucrats.
idiots
Oh man, I miss it.
too. Just cheers to that. Mm. So they're aiming at the target, and there are people standing beside the target, and I'm thinking, oh, any minute the marshal's going to come out and yell at everybody. Loaded their arrows, pulled that string back, and let fly, and nobody moved a foot. They're standing beside about 1.5 meter target, and no one moved. That's how confident they are that these archers are not going to miss their target.
Do they do the wrestling as well?
Yes, I saw the wrestling. I didn't get
Okay.
any photos of that. By that time, my phone was flat. But yes, there was wrestling.
Okay.
It
So
was
they
awesome.
they did the three sports. It was horse racing, archery, and wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Nadam.
But again, the beautiful costumes, to just see everybody so proudly in culture costumes did my heart a whole lot of good.
See, that's the thing.
Uh,
It's just the way they roll. Like it's not a thing. Like it's not
Yeah.
like, oh, we're going to dress up like this. It's like
No,
this is the way they do it.
exactly. Yeah. And to actually be amongst a living culture like that, that isn't commodified, or it's not for the tourist. It's not a put on village for the tourist.
Yeah.
This is life. And I loved it. And one of the most extraordinary things was that I was taken out into the middle of nowhere, and there were these 6-year-olds, and they're all on horses,
Yeah.
and they're just riding around and around, and there are people geeing them up. These 6-year-olds are about to go on a 10-kilometer flat strap race back into the festival site. And some are on saddles, some are bareback, but they're so little at 6. And I just thought about, what in Australia we would do with 6-year-olds. And I am pretty sure a lot of people would look at that and be absolutely horrified at the risk these kids were taking. But these kids are born on horses.
Yeah.
And there's so much, the kids are so much more capable than what we give them credit for these days.
Yeah.
So
Those
they ended up
horses, mate, those horses though, they're like, I did a little bit of riding over there and they're bastards though, those horses.
they're really proud because apparently some horse lines that have been really corrupted because of the fine breeding of the purebred, they're actually entering putting a Mongolian DNA horse into certain livestock brands to sort of hardy them up again. Don't
And
know
they
if that's,
will
but to
run,
make them hardy.
they will run till they drop.
Yeah.
They are the toughest little, but like they're little turds.
So I did a 6-hour horse ride.
Yeah,
That's because that was the only way you could get into the reindeer herders. And I've done some horse riding. I've fallen off horses. I've been lost in the bush and gone, righto, can't get me home. But these horses were incredible because I'm going down a mountain like this, and it's pine trees and rocks, and the water's just running down and rushing rivulets. And twice I nearly went forward off over the horse and thought, right, I'm dead.
Mhm.
Because the stirrups are all just rope, so it's not like it's a proper saddle and stirrups that I've got. I'm doing this makeshift thing. I'm quite tall, so they're quite short, stocky people that are on these horses. So I just decided that I probably wasn't important enough for Australia to send a medevac helicopter to get me out if I died. So it was don't die, let the horse have its head and just hang on. And this horse was incredible. We fumbled through some things. It tripped a couple of times, but oh my God, what a way to see the landscape. And we got into Cezanne about, I don't know, 10:30, 11 o'clock that night.
Mm.
And it's a traditional reindeer herders village with the tebbies, and there's not a lot there, but in terms of just practicing gratitude and the incredible privileged lifestyle that I have,
Mhm.
it was look, I don't know, when you're with people that know how to live with the land and they have their ancestral knowledge, and to witness that is truly something that lifted my heart. It changed something in me.
Mm.
Uh,
Mm.
yeah.
All right. Well, so if people want to go on one of these trips over there,
Yeah.
who will they contact and what can they do?
So her name's Sarah Monkbayer. That's who I worked with.
Mhm.
And she has Sarah's guest house and tours. And what I really loved about Sarah was, I didn't want to go on a 10-day package. I needed to do this tour my way. I went on my own because I didn't want to compromise what I did and how where I went. Um, so what I really want to do, Matt, is to take a group of people to the school with me next time.
Right.
I would like to take, I don't know, 4, maybe 5 people who have an interest in Mongolia, who would like to go and teach at the International English School and help these kids, grapple with their English, and then go off on a 2-week tour. Maybe I want to go and see the eagle hunters next time, because the big thing I did learn about Mongolia is that it's slow time.
Yeah.
Without the tarmac roads, what is an 8-hour journey probably takes 4 days, because you're only doing 60 k's an hour, and it is the best 4-wheel driving ever. and that's I want to go back and help that school. Yeah, I want to start. I talk to the kids often. A lot of them are still in contact with me, and I'm in contact with Sarah. So that's what I would like to do.
So if anyone is interested and they want to go over there, and frankly, I recommend it. I had a fat time over there.
Yeah.
And it's just great. And you're going to belt yourself on the booze and stuff over there. It's like a country made for rednecks like me. I just loved it.
Vodka.
It's just like,
I ended up being called Vodka. That was my nickname, because their top shelf vodka is called Velvet. So I'd hear this, "Hey, vodka!"
yeah.
Oh, they're talking to me, but it's actually happened my whole life, because, people can't remember Velvet. It's like April, Amber, Lavender, Albert. So I just there's this feeling that people are talking to me. So yeah, I'd hear this vodka and people be waving at me, and I go, "Oh yeah, they're talking to me." It's
Yeah.
great.
No, it is. So like it's, if it's a country that you can seriously go there and remake yourself. And I really recommend to any of the listeners.
And the history, Matt.
Yeah.
The Genghis Khan Museum, what those that time on the planet was actually, the history there is extraordinary. I mean, he made all his way all the way down to the Danube, and ran into the Roman Empire and just went, "Oh yeah, that's enough." But the DNA is everywhere.
No, it's it's the longest continuous land empire in the world ever. It's true the British Empire had more square kilometers, but obviously it was broken up by the seas.
Yeah.
No, mighty Genghis Khan. But kind of a little brutal. But hey, you can't make an omelet without breaking civilizations.
Yeah, absolutely ruthless. But then in terms of once that was conquered, the actual community development strategies were really quite interesting. We thank Genghis Khan our postal service.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, he kind of
money strategies, those sorts of communication to across empires are really quite fascinating.
Yeah, and well, Genghis, because there's only one record that we've got, as you know, from that time, and it's the Secret History of the Mongols, which is a translation of a Chinese text, which a Chinese student was translating from the Mongolian into Chinese. So the original Mongolian text was translated in Chinese. We only have the Chinese translation.
Yeah,
and it was done as like a student. This student who was like obviously an emissary, or he was going to work in what would be foreign policy and stuff like that back then. But it's one of the few things that has some of the words and the stories of what Genghis wanted. And he's basically his strategy, like you said, there were some magnificent things that come out of Mongolia, like the Chinese word for bus or train station is Jan, which is a Mongolian word, which means it's the same word that the Mongols have for the stop on the what was the Pony Express.
bus. Yeah.
So it's there has been an influence, but basically he wanted to turn the entire world into. He was like, I really don't see the point to these city things. Like, what? There needs to be pasture. Let's create something.
Raise it to the ground.
Raise everything. Create some pasture. Look at that place. That needs horses. That needs horses.
Exactly. We'll give you horses. We'll give you yaks.
We'll give you horses. Okay, so we'll destroy everything.
Cities.
Bring the Black Plague. But hey,